chat here from Rome. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll wait till there's actually somebody watching and I'll ask that question when it makes sense. I am on the terrace of my hotel room. I will show that around here when people actually show up, if they do. And I'm looking out across the street at um, the Vatican Museum entrance where I was this morning. Throughout the day, this street is just packed. I mean, it's all the way down here with people waiting in line, and it's all the way down there with people waiting in line. There are general admission people. Hey, Laura. There are general admission people who are in one line, and then there are groups, tour groups that are in another line. And there were literally thousands of people. By the time that I got done with my tour this morning, which was, I walked out of the building a little after 8 o'clock, it was going to be an hour and a half wait to get in. Let me turn around here and show you. So this is the entrance to the Vatican museums. And what I was saying a minute ago was, earlier today, there was a line that stretched all the way down here, and then on the other end there is a sidewalk that goes down that way. It was also stretched out as far as you could see. If you are in Rome and you decide to come to see the Vatican museums, I would book a tour. That's just it. I would book a tour, because then you have a time to go in, and if you just show up, if you do just show up about 7:30, because you'll wait about an hour. They open at 8:30, but you'll be first. We met down there about 5:30 this morning. Almost everybody was there at 5:30. Hey, Pam. We were supposed to be there at 5:45, but we were all excited, so we got there. And right at 6 o'clock, I mean, right on the nose, they opened the doors. We had 2 or 3 people who were in charge of the keys. Hey, Nancy. And then we had a tour guide who was explaining things as we went through. Now, I will be the first to admit, he was very excited about his job. I mean, he was loving it, and very, very knowledgeable. But he was speaking so fast, in such broken English from his Italian, I could not understand a single word he said. But that didn't slow him down. We got into the Sistine Chapel at the end, and we had all kind of spread out around, and he had one guy standing about 10 feet away from him, and he was just still talking and talking and talking. My one regret on the Sistine Chapel was, I had heard in other people who have gone on this tour that depending on who your tour guide is, sometimes they will say it's okay to take a few pictures. Lisa, I'll be right. I'll tell you here in just a second. And then today it was like, I saw people with their cameras out. They took a picture or two, and then I took one picture. Then he reminded everybody that we could not be taking pictures. So I have that picture. He saw me take that picture. Nobody asked me to delete that picture. I will post it at some point, but not right now. So yeah, now that I've got 28 of you here, hey, welcome. Let me just show you again. I'm standing on the terrace of my hotel room, which is right across the street from the entrance to the Vatican museums. So we went in this door. Most people go in this door over here during the day. But let me just kind of show you around. So I'm on the 3rd floor of the T-Mark Hotel Vaticano, and it has a little terrace out here that I can come out and sit, which I have done once. And then it has, the view across the street. So literally this morning, that was how far I had to walk to go to my tour. I would take you into my hotel room, but it's kind of messed up at the moment because I'm getting ready to pack. So we won't do that. Um, I chose this hotel sight unseen because it's right here, and it's very nice. It's a very nice hotel. My room has a separate seating room. It has a full bath, and then it has the bedroom area. There are a couple of things about this hotel that I am not thrilled about, and one is that they control when the heat gets turned on, and the heat doesn't get turned on until the 20th of November. So right now, all I have is air conditioning, and it got cold. They offered me a floor heater, and I was like, no, 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 no. If this is what you expect, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tough it out. And the other thing that I wasn't very happy about is that when I got in the shower this morning, the water almost got hot. Almost. But it was just tepid enough that it felt like you were almost taking a cold shower. And I'm not looking forward to that again in the morning, but it is what it is. So anyway, I just thought I would come back on one more time, tell you a little bit about the tour this morning. I took a few videos from that for tomorrow's Life in Motion Diary channel, but most of the video tomorrow is inside St. Peter's Basilica. I mean, you can't come to Rome and not go there, right? And so the tour that I took this morning was all filmed for this channel, and I will Nancy, it definitely was. I will put that video together when I get home, and if with any luck it'll go up Thursday. If not, it'll be the following Tuesday. But yeah, so there were a couple of rooms we didn't get to see, and that they may change this up every time they do this, or I don't know. By the way, let me just ask this question, because I'm standing out here with all this traffic going on, but I do have my microphone on. Are you hearing me okay? Is the traffic too loud? Should I move away from the windowsill here? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so great, thank you. The things that we did get to see that were really important to me, there were a few statues that we saw, and I'll have to go back and look them up. I can never remember what they're called. I just remember they're important. But there is one whole long hallway of statues that breaks off into a second long hallway of statues, and we stood and looked at that, but we didn't go down that hallway. Instead, we were taking a turn to go somewhere else. So we didn't. I was hoping to get video there, and we didn't go there. There is, thanks Sheila, there is a statue in the museums called the Belvedere, which is really just a torso. I mean, that's all there is a torso. But it's one of the most important historical statues that they have, and really went a long way toward guiding Michelangelo and others in the way that they do sculpture. We didn't see that. But we did go in the Raphael rooms. We spent a lot of time in the Raphael rooms, and that's one of my favorite parts of the entire Vatican Museum. We spent almost 30 minutes in the Sistine Chapel, which was amazing to be able to look at all of that. And I don't know if you're aware, and it's one of those things I wish that I could have taken a video or done it, but if you're ever there and you look up at the ceiling and all of the pictures that Michelangelo painted, the most famous one, of course, is God reaching out, his finger touching Adam, giving life. Those are all in the ceiling. The very first fresco that he painted is totally different than all the rest. And the reason for that is he had this really intricate scene, and when he looked at it from the floor, he realized you can't tell what it is. It's too small. So all the rest of them are much larger figures as he made up for the mistake that he'd made the first time. And just, sort of as your daily history lesson, when you are painting frescoes, you are painting on wet plaster. You have to paint before the plaster dries. If you paint while the plaster is wet, then the paint oozes into the plaster and it will never wear away. It's going to be there forever. But if you paint on a dry plaster, it's just on the surface and time will wear it off. So all these frescoes that Michelangelo painted in the Sistine Chapel, he did them all personally himself over a period of 4 years. The nature of things, yes, we just talked about that. I'm sorry you missed it. Yeah, so it was an amazing trip inside. But those frescoes that are painted, you have to put just a little bit of plaster on and then paint before it dries. Then put a little more plaster on and paint until it dries, before it dries. And to think a room that size, painting that by himself, it's just unimaginable. And the picture that I was able to get before I realized they weren't going to let us take pictures was of the back wall of the Sistine Chapel, where I say it's the back wall. It's actually, I guess, the front wall. It's right behind the altar. Is the painting that he did of the Judgment. And that was after he painted the Sistine Chapel. That wall was not painted yet, and he left and did other things, and then the Pope called him back to finish that particular painting. And when you look at the massive size of that, and having all of the perspective down, I mean, it's mind-boggling. There is a new movie that's coming out. It may be out already, I don't know, called The Conclave. That's getting some mixed reviews, I think, but The Conclave is about the election of a new pope, and the Sistine Chapel is where the cardinals meet to hold their votes. And so it just has a lot of significance. It's also the Pope's personal chapel, where he goes for Mass. So, it's the highlight of the trip, and I understand why they don't let you take a lot of pictures of it, but I was kind of bummed out that we didn't get to do that. But then I did walk around St. Peter's today. I took a lot of video in there, so that'll be the Life in Motion Diary video for tomorrow. And a little bit of history kind of thrown in along that video as well. And then tomorrow I will be leaving in the morning to go back to the airport. My flight is at 12:45, and I get in. Hey, Patricia, glad you got home safe. I get home about midnight local time tomorrow, which is the typical flight I get in on when I come back. So it's really nice not having a bag to check, just the bag on my back, and being able to go around. So I'm going to go to the airport a little early tomorrow and relax in a lounge somewhere. And then I have a 5-hour layover in Atlanta. And so I will definitely find a lounge there to kind of sit back and relax and hopefully finish up the last travel video. And Rob, yeah, I know she will. Thankfully, my daughter, if you're watching this later, the chat is not rolling up because I didn't fix it to control that. But Rob just mentioned that he was sure my mom would be glad that I was home. My middle daughter, who lives there in Cleveland, just 20-25 minute drive away, she and her family went over and had lunch with her yesterday, and I think she was really glad about that. I think she was glad for the company. And then, yeah, she'll be glad to have me home. And I'll be honest, this will probably be the last trip I take for a while, at least this long. I mean, 2 or 3 days is not bad, but a trip this long, um, it's just getting to the point where I don't need to be away from home that long. Um, yeah, private tour is really good. And you know, the last time that I came to Rome, I took a tour that was just me and the tour guide. Now it was expensive; it was a couple $100, um, but to just have this very knowledgeable person by my side describing everything we were walking past was amazing. Um, but if you're here with a family of four, or you've come husband and wife or whatever, just falling in with a group of 20 people is not bad. I just don't like people. I try to avoid people at every turn. Um, I like meeting people this way. So yeah, so today it was there was about 20 of us on this tour. Um, and you think about that, 20 of us at a little over $500 a piece. I mean, that's the Vatican made 10 grand for 2 hours. And when you do that 4 or 5 days a week, that's some serious money. um, yeah, Jan, I did cover a lot of ground, and it was kind of by mistake, okay. And I may have talked about this earlier, and if she watches this live stream, she'll probably reach out and yell at me. But I have a friend of mine that I've known for 20 years. We met through education when I was part of the Discovery Educator Network, and we would go to yearly annual events, and typically what they did was bring in 2 people from each state. And I was one of those people that went a number of years, and she was from another state. I'm not going to mention her name, but we've been friends for a long time. We're friends on Instagram, and we share memes to each other and that kind of stuff. And she used to live in Florence. I think when she was growing up, she lived here for a little while. And so when she found out I was going to Rome, she said, "Why don't you spend 2 or 3 days in Florence, and I will fly over and meet you there, and we'll go around and take pictures together." And I was like, "I'm all in. Let's go do that. Let's have some fun." And then there was some things that happened. Her daughter was having some medical issues and stuff, and it turned out, after I'd already made all my reservations and I was already locked in, she couldn't go, so it's just me. But it turned out for the best because I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that that cream croissant. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm a sucker for Bavarian cream. They have a breakfast here. I have not had one yet. I don't know that I'll have one tomorrow, but I might, because I may go out to find a little place to have breakfast before I leave. There is a breakfast here at the hotel. I did not pay for that because I knew I wasn't going to be there today to have it, and it's like 20 pounds. I'm like, I'll go somewhere. But they have a little it's a little bun, and they just fill it with whipped cream. That's it. A piece of bread filled with whipped cream, and it is just an amazing breakfast. When you couple that with a cappuccino, and you're full. And so I may go look for that tomorrow. I don't know yet. Today when I got done, yeah, I don't know what they call it. It's like a cream puff. Today when I got done with the tour and St. Peter's, it was about 10 o'clock, and I was starving. And so I found a place along the street down here, a couple of blocks from my hotel, that does sort of their rendition of an English breakfast. I think I posted a picture of that on Instagram. And it was really, really very good. Now, last night I went out and found about a block and a half, 2 blocks from here, I found a Mexican restaurant called La Cucaracha. And I had their take on Tex-Mex. I had a chimichanga. Um, hey, Mom. Yes, it is time for me to be home. And I'm glad to know you're fine. Make sure you're listening for the doorbell because my package arrives today. um, and I would have to say I was not really impressed. You know, I mean, you think about I'm going to Italy, I'm going to have Italian food. Well, you know, Italians like to have international food too. So there are Chinese restaurants here, and there are Asian restaurants here, and there are this Mexican restaurant right next door to another Mexican restaurant. A couple of hamburger places I passed. But you know, while the chimichanga, however you want to pronounce it, I usually say chimichanga, was not that great. I will have to say it was about half the size of what I would normally get if I ordered it in the States, like most things that you eat over here. And it was enough. It was enough. I was full. I wasn't overly full. And I had a margarita. And oh my gosh, it's probably the strongest margarita I've ever had. And it was also good, but there is a up here above me, up here on the fourth floor, there is a rooftop terrace that I'm going up to here in just a little bit to just kind of sit and relax for the rest of the day. Thank you, Patricia. And so, you know, it's unfortunately it's coming to an end, but at the same time, I think yesterday I was kind of ready to be headed home. You know, 9 days, counting flying over here one day, flying home one day, 9 days away from home. That's enough. And I think I'm ready to go back, and I'm ready to go up and talk to my mom in the morning, and I'm ready to sleep in my own bed, and I'm ready to cook my own steaks and get back on my diet. And I shudder to think how much weight I've gained while I've been here. But that's what travel's all about, right? Yeah. It's been a good trip, and having everybody watching the videos and joining me on live stream. Like right now, we've got 54 people here on the live stream. Yesterday, I think we had about 60 something at one time, and 179 viewed the live stream altogether for at least a little bit. I don't know what today will be like, but I appreciate you all tagging along and wanting to join in the journey. Life is going to get much more boring in a couple of days. So thank you. I appreciate that. You know, typically if I make a video on the Life in Motions channel, if I make a video that's 5 or 6 minutes long, which is plenty long enough for people who are watching every single day, I will have anywhere from 15 to 20 video clips on average. Rob, I totally agree. The technology is absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm doing this on my phone, for gosh sakes. I mean, come on. But on these videos, I have like 100, 120 video clips. That's a lot of editing, and I would not want to do that every single day. So, Cynthia, thank you. I appreciate it. It is, yeah, I'm getting a little spoiled being here. So you can expect the videos to get a lot shorter very soon. And I'm trying to scope out some interesting things to go video about, but yeah. Dick Tracy for sure. So, I mean, we're winding down. This is, I think today was number 316 in videos. I only have to go to 365, so we're getting close. Um, oh, thank you from Tasmania. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're tagging along. Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me all of the far-flung reaches of the universe that people watch this channel from. I'm awestruck with that. YouTube is amazing in that. Now I've talked about the fact in a couple of posts that I've lost about 150 subscribers, and that's just in the last week, and the number went down again today. But at the same time, my Life in Motion Diaries channel, probably in large part to these videos about my trip, has gained about 80 subscribers. So, I can't really complain. Hello to Virginia, the state, not the person. So, it's you give with one hand, you take away with another one. But it will eventually hit its bottom and start clawing its way back up again. Thank you, Lorene. I appreciate that. It is, we've been on here about 26 minutes or so, and even though we've still got a really good crowd, we've got 52 people on here, I am going to have to go. It's starting to get a little dark, and I'm gonna go upstairs and relax for a little bit. I've already got tomorrow's video uploaded, so I'm done with that, and it's just a matter of getting some rest tonight and getting ready for not first class tomorrow. I did change my seat on the flight from Rome to Atlanta to the very first row of the the cheap seats, whatever they call that. It's lost me at the moment. So that way I don't have any seats in front of me. I got a little extra leg room, and I think that's going to be okay. I won't be treated like a king like I was in first class. There is one seat available in first class. They want $4,300 for that, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Coach, thank you. Yes. Anyway, and then I'm on a pretty decent sized plane from Atlanta to Chattanooga, which kind of surprised me. And I have a decent, that's a 20-minute flight. I mean, it's not like you care where you sit on those, but I have a decent seat there as well. So I should be comfortable enough. We'll just make do. And for me, I know a lot of people choose window seats. I always choose an aisle seat because I like to have the freedom of getting up if I need to and not bothering anybody. And I always make sure if there's somebody sitting next to me, I tell them before we leave, if I'm asleep, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you wake me up because you need to go to the bathroom or whatever. You just go ahead and wake me up. But I like that freedom of being able to get into the aisle if I need to. So anyway, that's enough about me. I'm going to take off here now. I appreciate again y'all watching. Somebody had requested that I make a playlist, and so I will. I'll make a playlist of these live streams so that you can find them easily. And then over on the Life in Motion Diaries, I'm going to make a playlist of all of the Italy videos so people can find them more easily. And that's it. So thanks for coming along. Please be sure and give it a thumbs up if you can. Again, I've not turned on monetization yet, but I will once we turn off of here. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've never, well, I shouldn't say that. I have had one bad flight, but most of my flights overseas have been really, really good. So thank you, Cynthia. We will see you next time. I don't know if I'll live stream tomorrow. If I do, it will be from the Atlanta lounge. But I don't know that I will. We'll just wait and see. We'll play that one by ear. Thank you, Diane. Take care of yourself. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.